Today we are going to be reading a story called Night of the Wolf. Now, just like in our other lessons, you'll notice that throughout this story there are words that are highlighted in a bright yellow color. These are our oral vocabulary words that we will be learning this week and throughout our lesson. Now, as Mrs. Collier reads the story, we will come across a word. At the end of our story, I will read the definitions of our vocabulary word and we will say them together. So this is the story of Night of the Wolf. One night, Meg and Ellie sat by their bedroom window and stared out into the night. It was snowing and it looked like the kind of snow that would stick. The flakes were small and falling almost as fast as rain. "I figure we'll have a snow day," said Ellie, "if it keeps up like this for another couple of hours." "I don't know," said Meg. "We haven't had a snow day since we moved to Minnesota. The snow doesn't seem to bother anyone here." "Can you imagine what people back home would say if they saw us walking to school with snowbanks taller than people?" asked Ellie. "I don't think I'll ever get used to it." "I know," said Meg. "It's okay here, but it's so different. I wonder if we'll ever stop calling Texas back home." Suddenly, the wind tossed a snow shovel across the lawn. It hit the shed with a loud clang. Both girls jumped. "Whoa," said Meg. "Maybe we really will have a snow day. That wind is so strong." "We'd better get to bed, just in case," said Ellie. "I don't want it to be my fault if you can't get up in the morning. I get blamed every time you sleep late. Mom and Dad seem to forget that you always slept late in the old house, too. And we didn't even share a room there." The girls climbed into their beds and snuggled under their thick, warm blankets. Ellie shut off the light. A few moments later, Meg sat up suddenly. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. "I think I heard a howl. An animal howl." "It's just the wind," said Ellie. "You're just trying to keep me up late again. Now go to sleep." Then they both heard it. It was a long howl. It started low and got higher. "Ah-oo!" It did not sound like the wind, and it sounded close. Meg and Ellie ran back to the window. They huddled together and scanned the land behind their house. "Look!" Meg gasped. She pointed to the left. There stood a beautiful timber wolf, no more than 100 yards away. As they stared at it, it lifted its head to the sky and howled again. "Ah-oo!" "Do you think it's lost in the snow?" asked Ellie. "Probably not." "I think they like the snow," said Meg. "My teacher said this is one of the only places where there are plenty of wolves, and it snows here all the time." The wolf stood with its ears perked up and looked around. Then 4 more wolves seemed to appear from nowhere. The wolves all put their heads down and jumbled together. They nuzzled one another and wrestled a little. Once they finished their greetings, they settled into an organized group. Then the wolves ran off into the woods. The girls looked at each other in amazement. "Now that's definitely not something we'd see back home," Ellie said with a laugh. "That's true," said Meg. "It may be different here, but it sure isn't boring." As Meg and Ellie climbed back into bed, they both fell asleep, thinking that their new home was pretty nice after all. What a great story learning about Meg and Ellie and their adventures at their new house. Before we go over our vocabulary, let's look back on a few things in the story. In our story, we saw that Meg and Ellie talked about home, and talked about moving. Where do Meg and Ellie live now? Do you remember the place that Meg and Ellie said they live? Well, it is snowing in their new home, and we know it did not snow in their last home. If we look back in our story, we can see it says, "I don't know," said Meg. "We haven't had a snow day since we moved to Minnesota." So Meg and Ellie live in Minnesota. Do you remember where they said they lived before Minnesota? If we look back in our story again, we see a sentence that says, "I know," said Meg. "It's okay here, but it's so different. I wonder if we'll ever stop calling Texas back home." So Meg and Ellie live in Minnesota, but they lived in Texas before then. So our setting of our story takes place in Minnesota in Meg and Ellie's bedroom. In our story, we had a wolf that appeared outside of Meg and Ellie's bedroom. The wolf also howled very loudly. Why do you think that the wolf was howling? Why do you think the wolf was howling? Well, if we look back in our story, we can see where our wolf first said, "Ow!" and was howling like wolf. Mrs. Collier's wolf howl is not that great. I'm sorry, guys. And then it says, also in our story, the wolf stood with its ears perked up and looked around. Then 4 more wolves seemed to appear from nowhere. So we could say maybe the wolf howled so that he could tell other wolves where he was at. Or maybe he was wanting the other wolves to join him in the snow. Now let's look at our vocabulary words that we have for this week. So the first word we saw was the word figure. Figure. Everyone say the word figure. Figure means, if we go at the bottom of our page, it says to think or expect. The sentence that it was used in says, "I figure we'll have a snow day," said Ellie, "if it keeps up like this for another couple of hours." So Ellie is basically saying, I think we'll have a snow day, or I'm expecting us to have a snow day. So the word figure means to think or expect. Our next vocabulary word was the word tossed. Tossed. Say the word tossed. The word tossed at the bottom of our page means threw easily. In our story, it says, suddenly the wind tossed a snow shovel across the lawn. So the word tossed means threw easily. The next word we saw was the word clang. Clang. The word clang means a loud sound caused by banging metal. In our story, it says, it hit the shed with a loud clang. So a clang is a loud sound caused by metal. Our next vocabulary word is the word fault. Fault. Say the word fault. The word fault means responsibility for something wrong. In our story, the word fault was used when it says, I don't want it to be my fault if you can't get up in the morning. So the word fault means responsibility for something wrong. We sometimes hear this word when people say, it's not my fault. If something breaks, somebody might say, it's not my fault it broke. The dog knocked it over. It's not my fault. Our next word was the word plenty. Plenty. Say the word plenty. The word plenty means a large amount or more than enough. In our story it says, my teacher said this is one of the only places where there are plenty of wolves. So the word plenty means a large amount or more than enough. And our last vocabulary word is the word jumbled. Jumbled. Say the word jumbled. The word jumbled means mixed together. In our story, the word jumbled was used when it says, the wolves all put their heads down and jumbled together. So the word jumbled means mixed together. So this morning, we reviewed our sight words on our cards together, but now we're going to see them a little bit differently. I have these in-text cards that have our sight words on them, but it also uses them in a sentence and has a picture. So these are our daily frequency words, also called our sight words. So we are just going to read them in a different context. So this is the word come. The word is come. Our sentence says, wolf cubs come out of their den in the spring. And we can see the picture of the wolf cubs. So the word come means to go from somewhere else to the place you are now. So how do you think you can use the word come in a sentence? There's a lot of different ways. I could say, could you come eat lunch with me? Could you come to the classroom today? Would you like to come there with me? There's a lot of different ways we could say it. So this is the word come. Next, we have the word said. Said. The word is said. Our sentence that uses the word said says, the ranger said that the cubs love to play. So this is a picture of a ranger telling people that the cubs love to play. Now the word said comes from the word say. Like when I say, listen to what I say. See, I just said it twice. So said means that you talked in a time before right now. Next, the word is call. Call. The word is call. In this sentence it says, a mother wolf can call to her cubs. So this is a picture of a mother wolf calling to her cubs. The word call means to say something in a loud voice. Or it also means to use a telephone. So if I were to pick up my telephone and say, I'm going to give somebody a call, it can also be used that way. So the word is call. Our next word is the word hear. Hear. The word is hear. Our sentence says, wolves hear better than people. And we have a picture of a wolf. The word hear means to use your ears and listen to a sound. So there's also another way to spell and use the word hear, and we may have seen it before. It's H-E-R-E, But that is saying, like, I am here. I am at a place. I am going here today. When it is spelled with an A-R, that is talking about our hearing, like our hearing in our ears. Our next word is away. Away. The word is away. Our sentence says, wolves can travel far away from home. We have a picture of a wolf in the snow. Away means to move in a different direction from someone or something else. The word is away. And our last word is the word every. Every. Our sentence says, every wolf helps other wolves in its pack. So here's a picture of a wolf pack. The word every means each one. If I say every student got an A on their math test. Okay, now we are going to review a little bit more before we read our new story for the week. So before we read our new story today called Jack and the Wolf, we are going to be looking at some information before we read our story. So we are going to be looking at our target skill. So our target skill this week will be characters. So it says understanding characters. People and animals in a story are the characters. When you read, think about what the characters say and do. And then we are not going to fill out a chart like this is at the bottom right now in our video. I just want us to be thinking about the characters or animals that are in our story. So as we read our story, think about what they say, what they do, what they are like, how they act. So we will be focusing on the characters as we read. Our story today, Jack and the Wolf, the genre of our story, Jack and the Wolf, is a fable. Now we've read a couple fables since we started first grade together. Fables are old stories. They have been told for many years. Fables can teach a lesson. They can also tell us how to act. Jack and the Wolf is a fable. It is about a boy who plays a trick. Have you heard a story like this one? Let's find out the lesson this story teaches us today in Jack and the Wolf. Jack the Wolf by Chris Chabon. Our essential question is, what lessons can you learn from story characters? So let's get started. Once upon a time, Jack sat on a big hill. So let's read that together. Once upon a time, Jack sat on a big hill. Let's look at the picture that we see on this page. Where does the story take place? The story takes place on a hill. We can also see a small town in the back with houses. Jack had every sheep with him. It is not fun to sit, said Jack. So let's read that together. Jack had every sheep with him. It is not fun to sit, said Jack. So what characters have we met so far? We have met Jack, and we have also met some sheep. So we have met Jack and some sheep. This page also has two of our sight words on it. We have the word every and the word said. I will yell, wolf, for fun. So let's read that together. I will yell, wolf, for fun. His friends ran up the hill to help. They did not see Wolf. So let's read it together. His friends ran up the hill to help. They did not see Wolf. Why do you think, boys and girls, that Jack yelled wolf? Why do you think Jack yelled wolf? Well, we know that Jack said he was bored, so if somebody yells a word like wolf, that might scare people and think that a wolf is there. So after Jack yells wolf, why do his friends run up the hill to help him? Why do Jack's friends run up the hill when they hear Jack yell wolf? Well, if you guys heard Mrs. Collier scream wolf, you would probably think that I saw a wolf and I might be in trouble. So just like how Jack did, his friends are coming to help him and save him and the sheep from a wolf. Jack sat back on the hill. I will yell, wolf. So let's read that together. Jack sat back on the hill. I will yell, wolf. Our next page has a picture of Jack yelling the word wolf. Oh my goodness, look at the sheep's faces. How do you think the sheep might be feeling? This sheep in the front looks very scared. His friends ran back up the hill. They did not see Wolf. His friends ran back up the hill. They did not see Wolf. So why do you think that Jack would yell wolf again? Why would Jack yell wolf again? Well, Jack yelled wolf the first time because he was bored. So we could say that Jack is still bored. So he wants to scare the town people again and yell wolf. But why do Jack's friends run back up the hill? Why did they come back up the hill? Well, Jack's friends heard Jack yell wolf, and when they heard him yell it again, they thought the wolf might be there this time. Jack sat back on the hill. Jack sat back on the hill. Wolf got up on a rock. Wolf got up on a rock. Jack and his sheep ran away. Jack and his sheep ran away. So class, this time we can see in our picture that Jack is screaming, "Wolf!" Why is Jack yelling wolf this time? Well, if we look back, we can see there really is a wolf this time. So before, Jack was just yelling it because he was bored, but now there really is a wolf. What do you think might happen next? "Did you hear me call?" said Jack. "You did not come." "Did you hear me call?" said Jack. "You did not come." "You can't not trick us," said Nell. "You cannot trick us," said Nell. So let's look at those last two pages. What are the sheep doing in both of these pictures? The sheep are all over. What do you think they might be doing? Well, it looks like the sheep are trying to look different or wear a disguise so that the wolf will not come back for them. And some are trying to escape or climb high and hide away from the wolf. Nell says, "You cannot trick us." What lesson do you think Nell teaches Jack? So Jack asked Nell, "Did you hear me call? You did not come." And Nell says, "You cannot trick us." What do you think the lesson would be that Jack would learn? Well, we could think that Jack learned it's not nice to trick and lie to people. Jack screamed wolf because he was bored and wanted to scare people, and people came to help him. But since he was not being truthful and there really was no wolf, when it came to the wolf actually showing up, no one believed him. So our lesson could be is to not trick and lie to others, because when it is really important, we need them to believe us. For the next part and final part of our lesson today, we are going to be reading our decodable, Anne Packs. Now, as we read our decodable, Mrs. Collier will read a sentence, and then I want you to read it with me. So let's get started. I miss Anne. I can call Anne. So say it with me. I miss Anne. I can call Anne. Anne can come here, said Nan. Anne can come here, said Nan. Yes, said Anne, I will come. Yes, said Anne, I will come. I will be quick, Nan. I will be quick, Nan. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Anne will pack a big red bag. Anne will pack a big red bag. Anne will pack 10 hats. Anne will pack 10 hats. Anne will pack 10 socks. Anne will pack 10 socks. Pack, 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 pack. Pack, 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 pack. Anne will pack 6 ducks. Anne will pack 6 ducks. Anne will pack 10 dolls. Anne will pack 10 dolls. Pack, 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 pack. Pack, 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 pack. Anne has hats and socks. Anne has hats and socks. Anne has ducks and dolls. Anne has ducks and dolls. Anne has 10 big hugs for Nan. Anne has 10 big hugs for Nan. What a fun story about Anne packing her bag. We had a lot of different sounds in our story. One that stood out to me was on this page when we worked with our qu sound. Our Q-U qu sound when we said quick, quick, quick. Well, that is the end of our Journeys lesson today. We don't have a workbook page to do, so you are all done with your reading for today. Make sure for reading intervention, if you are not in a group with me today, that you are logging on to Imagine Learning. I'll see you later.